guess what? Let me fucking spoil something for all you people out there that think if that happens, it's going to change anything. Congratulations. They wiped away the sequel trilogy, and they said, you know, fuck all this shit. It's done. It's over. It's decanonized. But what about Mandalorian? What about Book of Boba Fett? What about Obi-Wan Kenobi? What about The Acolyte? What about every fucking thing they've done since they bought it? All of that shit is just as big, if not a bigger problem than the sequel trilogy. So, like, this stuff, the fact that people are so, like, oh, this could happen, it could happen. Even if it did happen, which it won't, it changes nothing. And I wish we'd stop hearing the same fucking thing we've heard for 8 years.
Nerderotic.com.
Let's talk about Disney Star Wars.
Yay!
Yay!
Let's go,
Yay! Yay!
The latest crap Star Wars is out.
So we're getting closer. So the projections haven't changed very much for the opening box office, and they're not good. We're already starting to see the cope. I don't think it's a good sign that you preview 25 minutes of your movie, a full like fifth of your movie.
But they did. So they did the 15 minutes at CinemaCon. And then they showed 25 minutes.
Don't you want more?
Weird, man. Like, this is desperation is what it sounds like to me.
The film.
This sounds like desperation. And as I showed, I told you that after 12 hours of the more recent Odyssey trailer being out, it already had more views in 12 hours than Mandalorian Grogu had in a month. Oh, no, 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks. But that's still like...
And this is Star Wars, man.
Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy.
The final Mandalorian trailer a week after the fact had like 4.1 million views.
Yeah.
That is bad. Now, again, depending on who releases it and how they release it, you look at some of the stuff that Amazon releases, they get like crazy high views. It's because I think they embed it in some way on their service or on their website that like helps out those views because it doesn't really match up. But for just taking that in a vacuum, 4 million views for the last trailer is insanely fucking low for anybody. And yeah, the projections are still, 80 plus million, 80 to 90 million 4-day weekend. And I even think there's a chance that it kind of gets close to 100 million over the 4-day holiday weekend and gets close to what Solo did. But considering the fact that when you factor in inflation, Solo actually did closer to like 130 plus million in its opening 4-day, it just goes to show how sad that really would be.
And it's also contextually different. I mean, Solo comes off the back of an historically divisive main trilogy entry in The Last Jedi. The Mandalorian was the one thing they had until recently that was sort of working for them. Obviously, season 3 is absolute dog shit. Season 2 isn't much better. But like, it was the one thing they had said that is like definitively our own, which people seem to not hate too much. And now even this is coming out with no like particularly bad blood, or no like hot-headed bad blood around it. And still, no one gives a shit. I kind of like it because it's The Mandalorian and The Mandalorian sucks, but it's bad for the franchise. They do seem to have moved on already, even internally, to like, well, Starfighter is the one everyone's really excited for, right? Tom Cruise has been on set, and it's Mr. Levy who did Deadpool and Wolverine. Everyone's excited for Starfighter. That's going to be like a good, wholesome father and son tale. Like, if that's next year, you have a film coming out this month. You should be panicking.
The issue with saying that The Mandalorian is like one of their better streaming service things is it's just not comparable to cinema because of the barrier to entry of actually going all the way to the cinema. A lot of people will leave Disney Plus running or background television or all that kind of thing rather than actually paying for it. You'd be more likely to go off merchandise and stuff where people are actually shelling out cash for it. And, well, how many Mandalorian and Grogu toys do you see around nowadays? But it's that barrier to entry of cost that I think will kill the movie. Rather than if they released it on a streaming service just as a free thing, but they'd have a lot higher numbers.
Or if they'd released it at the height of Mando Season 1's popularity, because then there was a lot of goodwill toward that. I mean, I even felt some goodwill. I didn't rate it very highly, but I felt some goodwill toward it. And the merchandise point, there was loads of it at that time, but that's a long time ago. Many things have changed since then.
Box Office Theory has the projections for the weekend too, but it also typically includes like total domestic forecasting, which again, it's still very early numbers, but the fact that he has the total domestic for this movie at 215 million domestically, that would put it right at where Solo was, and that's before you adjust for inflation. And Solo didn't even do $400 million globally. So if it's already tracking that way domestically, and if we see a similar reaction internationally that we saw for that film, and again, I think this one will maybe do a little bit better, but we're still talking, I think, what, 400 to 600 max, and that's abysmal.
But Star Wars, unlike, I guess it kind of depends on the movie you're looking at. Yeah. But in general, in the last 10 years, like take Force Awakens, unlike something like Infinity War or Endgame, which made a fuck ton of money here in the United States, and then an absolute metric fuckload of money internationally, Star Wars hasn't necessarily been that way. It's a much more even kind of domestic international split. And that was with China actually doing numbers. So we'll see what it looks like now.
Mm-hmm. But something else we need to keep in mind, to Odin's point, like, they are going to position that as being a grand slam knockout victory because they're going to try to spin it that this movie was not that expensive to make. So even right now, we're getting reports of under $200 million to make this. That doesn't include the marketing. That sounds like a crock of crap. That seems like an impossibility. We know that a lot of this, but we need to be prepared to talk about that. Like that,
I think it was a cheaper production for sure. I think it was a cheaper production because they had built sets and stuff, all the props and all that stuff already for like 5 years. So it is, but
not so much that the volume is a game changer, right? Now the volume makes things look like fucking shit, but it is significantly cheaper to do things on, right? Which is why 8 episodes of The Mandalorian cost around $100 million, you know, and based on some of the shots we've seen, it certainly looks like the volume was utilized. I can believe that they spent less than 200 million. I could also believe that they didn't, right? But just simply because of the volume aspect of it, there is a chance that they made it.
But Wizards' point still stands. They're going to try and paint this as the biggest win possible. Like, the fact is, after 6 years, how long has it been since the last Star Wars movie in theaters? And this is the movie that you're going to release. It's a TV movie, a condensed season of TV characters that now has been years past its prime. And this is the movie you're going to go with.
And they're not going to be able, they've been able to hide behind streaming numbers for almost 7 years. And this is something they're not going to be able to hide from. And
which makes me so happy.
It really does.
And as bad as Rise of Skywalker was, it still hit $1 billion. And this film is just not going to, based on everything not close. Now, and it'll be now the second Star Wars film to, like, again, as far as like this new era is concerned, to not hit $1 billion.
And we all know this. It's been diminishing returns ever since the Disney took over at this point. And why would we expect it any different at this point?
Ryan, wasn't Rada the Hutt in the Clone Wars movie?
Yes,
from
Stinky.
2008.
As Jeremy well knows, Stinky was in the famous Clone Wars movie, and it'd be a great idea to bring him back.
The terrible Clone Wars.
Yeah, this time he's jacked.
Is that the baby Hutt that they needed to rescue?
Yes.
So now he's all jacked up.
Gladiator.
And I think it's gonna be a curse. Chris went and saw the 25 minutes because he's Chris
twice.
And, and said it didn't look great. There's a 3-minute preview on D+, and it looks bad. Zeb is in it, and like dude, the effects look bad. The fact of the matter is Kathleen Kennedy's gone, Bob Iger is gone, and nothing's going to change. They don't know what to do, and you come out with a TV movie. You have a 50th anniversary coming up for fucking Star Wars, and they haven't prepared anything. There should be a special movie prepared for the 50th anniversary, whatever plot you want to come up with, and they didn't do it. And that shows that their complete lack of a plan. And that's the one thing I have been consistently told, Ryan, from people I know, is they don't have a plan. So if we hear plans of they're going to do this or that, they don't fucking know what they're doing at Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is so bad, people in Marvel clown them.
Yeah, and they know their shit too, and they still clown them.
Yeah.
I mean, Jon Favreau said it in an interview a week ago. It's like, hey, I'm going to get together with Dave Filoni next week, and we're going to talk about the future of the Mandoverse. And it's like,
it doesn't have one.
There is no future.
Okay, yeah, that means there's not one. Okay, got it. Understood.
And it's Ahsoka season 2 coming up, and I think that's going to be basically the end of it, right? There's nothing else planned for live action TV, as far as I'm aware. There's no other tie-in movies planned, as far as I'm aware.
Not anything that's written down, no. That's like been told to us now.
Oh, so thank God, Ahsoka's coming out.
I think this movie's a big determining factor, right? And
yes,
you can't hide behind Disney Plus numbers. and there's too much streaming stuff out there. This is a Star Wars movie in theaters, and for both the Lucasfilm's critics and its shills, you can't hide from the reality once this comes out, whatever it does. And it's going to be a big determining factor in like what the actual health of the Star Wars franchise is.
But like Odin, correct me if I'm wrong, but this movie will still need to clear about 550 million if we take. Yeah, so what we're seeing here is they've reported 166 as the production budget, then factor in marketing and then overhead and then the theaters. You're still looking at a 550 cut. Comparatively, Fantastic Four: First Steps didn't hit 550 million.
Yeah.
Like Disney's in a rough spot, whether it's Star Wars or if Fantastic Four couldn't do it and there was a little bit more hype for that, I don't see any hype right now for I think Master of the Universe is going to clean up and Mandalorian's not.
Yeah, at 165-ish, it's about 500 million for a break even, and that's with
depends what their marketing was, though.
Yeah, marketing is always the thing with Disney. They always overspend on marketing.
Their marketing is going to be at least $100 million, right?
It's a lot now.
Especially, remember, they spent $10 million on one 30-second Super Bowl ad that got fucking ratioed and mocked and ridiculed, and less than 24 hours later, they come out and explain themselves. So, like, whatever their marketing budget was, just remember to add that $10 million for one showing during the Super Bowl.
That was an insane idea as well. For all they like to talk about, no, we need to reach a new generation of fans. How are we going to do that? Okay, Super Bowl ad referencing an advert at the Super Bowl from the 1990s? I hadn't got a clue what it was referencing because I don't watch non-sports, and also I'm not that old. But like, why would you do that if your goal is to attract an audience, any audience, but never mind like a younger audience who wasn't allowed to remember the thing that you're referencing?
They truly have no idea what
they have no clue.
They really don't. And I think you're going to see a state of panic with them, probably internally, obviously, more than anything. But once this movie comes out, once this movie underperforms, I don't think it will be like the Marvels level, but I do think that we're talking potentially Solo level, maybe even lower than Solo.
I think it might be on the table.
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility. I'm looking for the tweet with Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins, calling them out for ripping off Gizmo. He's like, yeah, Baby Yoda's a total ripoff, like one for one ripoff of Gizmo. So good for him. Oh my god!
Well, this is a little promo that Star Wars
character named Yoda from the Star Wars.
Yes, he is a derivative Yoda that's a ripoff of something else. Mandalorian is a derivative Boba Fett. We have another Jabba. Hey, there's going to be walkers. There's going to be all-terrain armed transports. Again, remember those? Those
Disney's
are neat. They're easily defeated.
Disney's version of shit that you love, and it's never going to stand up.
Well, it's because it started off as a Mandalorian series, but Grogu was so popular with women that they were like, well, we're just going to double down on that. We'll double down whatever
we are
works.
Back to women again.
Well, it's true, though. So it became essentially a Grogu series rather than... If you look at the marketing for this movie, it's all Grogu being cute. And that has a sell-by date, because the maternal instinct expects the children to grow up at some point, and this never seems to. Like, it never evolves past its original point.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It just gets old now. And now, because they feel this is their main selling point, Grogu is never going to change. He's never going to grow up. He's never going to learn to speak or anything like that because they need the cutesy baby thing. That's what they think is the only selling point. And I'm sick of it by now.
That's a fucking huge mistake. Yeah,
I was sick of it episode 1.
Exactly. Same here.
Nice to see all of you here today. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for going on these adventures. John, he's made one heck of a ride for you guys to go on. I couldn't be more proud. And of course, be with you.
With you guys. For Mandalorian and Grogu, and it just never stopped.
Hold on.
Oh, she had crazy eyes.
None of these motherfuckers are Star Wars fans.
And a nose ring. Yep.
No, but they are Grogu fans. That's the thing.
I won't deny that they may be Star Wars fans, but they are a niche. They're a niche, shallow Star Wars fan. And
at this point, they don't get to be called Star Wars fans. If you're still supporting this shit, you actively hate Star Wars. If you're still supporting
they're not even Star Wars fans. They're Disney fans. That's the difference. They're Disney. They're here for whatever Disney sends. It's not Star Wars. It's not Marvel. It's just Disney.
It's shallow. It's the shallowest version of Star Wars, which is what Disney puts out. Is the paint of Star Wars. Oh, look, it's got a ship. Oh, look, it's got a Mandalorian. It's got a Yoda.
This is what the corporate critics got really upset at CinemaCon is Disney is going to start favoring influencers. I have no idea who any of these people are. They're probably on TikTok. We saw that worked out so well for Amazon with the Rings of Power in season 1.
Mm-hmm. Bro, I can't stop looking into this fucking hippopotamus's eye.
Nose ring theory in full effect.
All of those clips just felt so fake and manufactured.
Because they are.
It's just like,
well, there's more.
Stop. Everything about it was so much fun. You will be oohing and awing at the action, at the duo, and most importantly, at Grogu.
This movie might be the best Star Wars that we've seen.
Oh, it's the best Star Wars that we've seen.
It's probably the best Star Wars that you've seen.
I tell you what, shit, boy. Like, yes, this movie made by Cowboy fucking Dave is going to be the best you've ever seen.
It might be because he probably hasn't seen anything else. I mean, it's like, this is like Anakin blew up the Death Star level of retard.
Oh boy, I remember that.
There's going to be so many.
And Star Wars doesn't have good and evil.
Yes, exactly.
There's going to be so many roastable moments.
Just shades of grays.
Influencers praising this movie. It's going to be
nauseating.
Usual suspects.
It's going to be great.
Yes.
And then Grizzy will have it posted within 5 minutes.
He'll be eating good.
And then there's Baby Yoda, which is definitely a Gizmo ripoff. I mean, come on, let's face it. As is the character in the Ochi movie.
Yes.
A total Gremlins ripoff. You know, they don't even hide it. Like, oh, come on, it's Gizmo works. We'll do what we got. Baby Yoda.
Hail Joe Dante, by the way.
Yes, legend.
Absolute legend.
Look, I can see similarity, but at the same time, if you're going to age down Yoda, I mean, you'd kind of fall on that anyway. So I'm not kind of seeing it.
Well, I mean, Disney's probably a little worried, considering the streaming data that we've all gone over the week, and we're going to go over it again. Why not? The streaming data that has a glaring omission, and that glaring omission is no sequel trilogy.
Yeah, so just to put it in full context, this is specifically on May the 4th, a random day in May that they chose. Obviously not actual Star Wars Day, but of May the 4th from last year. And it's viewership numbers that they put out in an article on May the 4th this year. It should be noted that Andor had actively just
currently streaming
episodes, and was airing at the time. And I believe Tales of the Underworld had just been released as well. So I do think those kind of mix in with this. I don't believe that Andor would have probably been the biggest one on a random day in October if it hadn't been releasing new episodes, but just for full context.
I mean, this list is still wacky, but at least it doesn't have the sequel trilogy or Mandalorian or Ahsoka or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mouth with the prequel hate, Gary. Watch your fucking mouth. You prequels are there because the prequels are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Return of the Jedi is too low
You
on
like
this
the
list.
prequels.
It is
I
pretty low.
don't
They're
like the
not
prequels.
awesome.
I don't like the prequels. I fucking love the prequels.
You love the prequels.
He loves them unironically.
Like you love your Trump body pillow.
Dude, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie.
So what?
It's fucking awesome.
That's
You are wrong.
I'm happy for you, Jeremy.
You are wrong, Gary. You are wrong.
What am I wrong about?
You're my enemy.
Exactly.
Your prequel hate. You are wrong.
I don't
Aggressive-
The
aggressive
prequels
negotiations.
made an entire generation of Star Wars fans that aren't
undeniably,
like the Disney,
undeniably,
like the Disney trilogy.
That doesn't make me like them.
Are you an angel?
But the masses do.
Skywalker, what are we going to do?
Yeah, you know who makes.
Hold on. If I hear any more fucking prequel, hey, I'm gonna flag all your channels.
I love the prequels. They are neat.
If you remove Andor from the list, it seems pretty fine for people watching. I mean, Return of the Jedi should be above Clone Wars for sure.
Empire. Listen, Return of the Jedi, half a good movie. I'm not gonna like die on a hill of Return of the Jedi, but
it's not bad. But it's clearly showing a interest in the OT and
it does
because that's what fans want.
Another thing that you actually need to think about here when it comes to why this one is here and why this one is here. When it's getting to this level, this is not how many people clicked on something. This is the amount of watch time something accumulated.
Yep.
So that's why when something releases 3-hour long episodes and A New Hope, basically all the OT are around 2 hours, and the prequels, some of them are significantly longer.
Which probably makes The Mandalorian's non-appearance on the list even worse, because you'd expect a TV show with 3 full seasons to get way more watch hours if it was actually popular. I think it's like, because they broke it down by age category, and The Mandalorian was the most popular with babies and extremely old people. People who haven't quite got brains, or people who have lost them a little while ago. But
eating mushy peas.
How do they have fucking data for 2-year-olds? Like that's my question.
Did they fill in a survey? Or?
Well, they grouped it as all of Gen Z. I think those are hard to judge by, because how do you know? Like, how do you know that there's a 2-year-old in that house?
I guess they judge it based on the other stuff you watch.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, oh, this must be a child watching it, but they don't realize it's actually a Dave Filoni.
They build a profile. Yeah, they build a profile on you, like YouTube's doing with the accounts, where they build a profile of what you're watching and they guess on what age bracket you're in.
So yeah, Empire should be higher. I'm fine. I don't care about the rest of the list. I mean,
I do remember, wasn't it 33 billion minutes in total, I think, over the course of this period? Which is, so it's not just like there is still some interest. Yeah. It's like, it's a huge amount, like for the total list over, it might be a different set of figures then, because it might be over the entire year that I was looking at that list, but it was something like 33 billion minutes. It might be over the entirety of 2025, actually. But the point being made is that it's not just that people are still interested, it's that people are still quite interested, but not in anything that's been made really in the last few years, with the exception of something like Andor.
And the glaring omission is The Mandalorian, the thing you're making a movie on, and it's not even on that list.
Yeah.
And like Disney knows the data. They know essentially what it's going to make at the box office, and you can see by their actions they're worried, and they should be, because you're in the apathy phase now.
Well, also, we just had, with May the 4th just passing, and that's what they have said is their big marketing holiday for Star Wars. We got no new announcements, no video games, no shows, no Ahsoka premiere date, nothing for Starfighter, no Ryan Gosling. Hey, we're doing a Star Wars. Nothing. We got a couple of extra clips for this movie, which is extremely telling of they think it's fragile. We can't announce anything new until we're past. We can't deviate from people just focusing on Mandalorian and Grogu. That is terrified position to be in. That's a bad spot.
It really is. And I think the thing that got the most traction was a rumor that day. So
yeah.
You know what's interesting here?
Rumor, the rumor about guys, this time for real, the sequel's not only going to be ignored, they're going to be decanonized for real this time, as opposed to the last 8 years.
But what more inside of Lucasfilm?
And then, ironically, as soon as that's circulated in the zeitgeist, they drop a trailer on May the 4th promoting The Mandalorian using Rey and Luke from The Last fucking Jedi as part of their promotion about The Mandalorian. It's so weird that these fucking things get reported like right on the biggest Star Wars day of the year. It's crazy.
To play devil's advocate, the report was that they're waiting until Ahsoka season 2 is out because they want to stick with Rey. They don't want to deviate from Rey. They want to keep the sequel trilogy, but it seems like they're being given internal metrics that they need to reach, and if that doesn't work, Rey's out. Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
But 10 years of metrics.
And here's the thing, like, we have already seen that they are moving away and don't want to talk, like, don't want to do anything in that timeline to a certain extent. There's a big difference between maybe not making a spinoff with Poe Dameron and decanonizing it. It's a massive fucking difference. And it's something that's never going to happen. And I wish people would stop having such hope every time this gets happen and like this belief, because guess what? Let me fucking spoil something for all you people out there that think if that happens, it's going to change anything. Congratulations. They wiped away the sequel trilogy and they said, fuck all this shit. It's done. It's over. It's decanonized. But what about Mandalorian? What about Book of Boba Fett? What about Obi-Wan Kenobi? What about The Acolyte? What about every fucking thing they've done since they bought it? All of that shit is just as big, if not a bigger problem than the sequel trilogy. So, like, this stuff, the fact that people are so like, oh, this could happen. It could happen. Even if it did happen, which it won't. It changes nothing. And I wish we'd stop hearing the same fucking thing we've heard for 8 years.
Hey, Ryan, I do want you to have some comfort knowing if they do get everything Disney gone, We still have season 1 through 5 of the Clone Wars, brother.
I know it's bad enough.
Okay, I just knew that would make you happy.
The issue is with what Fake Wizard said about they want to stick with Rey. They shouldn't want anything. As an entertainment industry, you shouldn't have favorite characters that you prioritize against everything else. If the audience likes something, you make that. You put out a load of feelers. You double down on what works. You shouldn't be like, we want to force this character into something the audience likes. It shouldn't even be on your mind.
Yeah, it's not about what the audience wants. It's about the egos of the creators, Disparu.
If they want to make money.
Well, George Lucas is the only one that has the right to do dumb shit like that.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
If you own the property, you bought a property that is worth some value because audiences want to see more of it. So then you make the audiences happy.
They're not concerned with that.
What? No.
But yeah, they also don't know how to connect with audiences anymore.
No.
But what we are seeing is the money people are, just based on their actions, the money people are stepping in and saying, shit's got to change. Because Bob Iger's gone, Kathy's gone, the leadership is changing in there. And now we're seeing in like real time, Star Trek is going down, competing with YouTuber minutes watched. The Mall show has just went out. The numbers are starting to come in for that. That is embarrassing. So now, and to see like a big Star Wars blockbuster that you need a $500 million to break even on, they're not in a good spot. They can't allow it to keep moving forward. So actually, them cutting the sequels is actually so tone deaf because they think, all right, well, if we get rid of that, that'll bring everybody back, instead of actually understanding what created the problem in the first place. They just think we'll throw away the sequels. That's what all these neckbeards want, and they'll all come flocking back. That's not the case.
No, the 50-year-old fans that they didn't want to satisfy anyway. Remember, Josh D'Amaro was behind the Galactic Star Cruiser. He's in the video. He's in the damn video.
So it was really funny. There was a bunch of like sycophantic Disney fans who like really hate Josh D'Amaro, who were using clips from my video. I didn't even know it was Josh D'Amaro because he had his stupid COVID mask on, and he's sitting there with a lightsaber in the Galactic Star Cruiser. I said, "Look at this fucking retard here. It looks like an absolute moron." They're like sharing that video out there, not knowing who I was. Probably
that's hilarious.
Probably not.
The thing is, what they should be doing at this point, and to take a step back, we don't like the sequels. A lot of people don't like the sequels. With that being said, there are people out there that like these characters. There are people out there that like those movies. And if you were to just completely and totally decanonize it, you would be telling those fans, a minority of fans, to go fuck yourself in a desperate hope that the ones you told to go fuck themselves before will come back. They're not going to do that because, in my opinion, they can achieve the same thing in theory if you just get out of this era. Get out of this era where you're relying upon stormtroopers and Skywalkers and, remember this, remember this. Go 1,000 years in the future and make your own story on a planet that people have never heard of. Now, they can't do that because then they wouldn't be able to rely on the nostalgia. They would only be relying on their own ability. And they don't have anybody there that can do that.
No.
But that is your path forward to Star Wars. It is go 1,000 years in the future, not bring up names that people recognize, do your own thing within the Star Wars universe. That's what they should do. And it's what they should have done for a long time.
What would you say, though, as a counter? I don't think this would work by any means, but if they were to instead say, right, okay, we're going to go back, we're going to do the Thrawn trilogy, we're going to age up the characters with like recast, we're just going to adapt that. We're not going to reference where it's going. Like, the sequels will still exist, but we're just not going to really regard them or mention them in any way. And we just did that entire trilogy instead. Would that have any chance of? And then, of course, you'd have to assume that somebody other than Dave Filoni was writing it. But if all of those conditions were met, any chance that might work?
I think it would definitely get some attention if that happened. The problem is you can't really adapt that with where it leads. So that kind of is an issue. For people like me, who are fans of all of that stuff, I want them to stay as far away from expanded universe characters and stories as possible, because we've already seen what they've done with the handful of bastardized ideas they've brought in, and they just rape these characters. They just do. It's embarrassing. Yep. All the fucking people out there there are people out there that would get excited for it. There are the same people that are like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if they brought Mara Jade into canon? Why?
No.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a point. So what? Like, she's not going to be Luke Skywalker's wife. She's not going to be the mother of Ben Skywalker. She's not going to play the same role that she played before. She's just some bitch with red hair that you're using for a name. Like, I don't want to see any more damage done to these characters. Please stop letting Dave fucking Filoni touch characters that were way better off before he got his nasty fucking hands on them.
And he is a massive problem to any kind of future of Star Wars conversation. There was a time many years ago when some silly naive people were saying Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau together, they're going to save Star Wars, they'll decanonize the sequel trilogy. We already know how Dave Filoni would approach a character like Thrawn, because he's done Thrawn and he turned him into a Smurf with Down syndrome. So it's like it's not going to make anything any better.
Yeah. Well, and even the 1,000 years in the future, they'll fuck that up too. They'll mess that up.
But that's we all know what they're gonna do, and they're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, remake the original trilogy.
Do it again.
The trilogy.
And honestly, after Mark Hamill like making make Luke black at this point, like let's just move on from Luke Skywalker as we know him, since Mark Hamill runs his mouth.
He's done his share.
Tyrone Skywalker and remake the original trilogy. Okay,
who has done more damage to Star Wars, Jeremy? Rian Johnson or Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill.
Oof, Mark Hamill, hands down.
Mark Hamill.
I think Mark Hamill's done more damage to the greater Star Wars than anybody.
Yeah.
How? I mean, I'm interested in that interpretation because Mark Hamill has not written any of the stories that have totally trashed the franchise. I understand Mark Hamill being politically unpopular with half the fan base, but I don't think that's destroying Star Wars in the same way.
I think that Mark Hamill has hurt so many fans' opinion of him that it affects them even going back and enjoying the original trilogy.
Yeah, it affects the legacy of his character.
Yeah. And that is the core foundation of everything. Again, actors are retards. We know that. It is what it is. Mark Hamill has been a fucking idiot for a long time. But we have reached a point where his obnoxious, ridiculous political nonsense, it has become synonymous with him where you can't even separate the art from the artist anymore. He has finally reached that point where you watch it and all you think about is this guy hates my guts. And he's made it very clear that he hates my guts. And
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you how to think about a work of art. Obviously, every person receives it in different ways. To me, it's like it makes him more tragic to know that he still portrayed this character who embodies the best of everything he now opposes. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the originals anymore. It just makes me think less of him as a human, that he played someone who was so much better than him.
It just makes me care less about the franchise at this point.
Well, I can clearly I know the difference between Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill. Like they don't even seem like the same person to me in any way. So I can
sometimes people like Kevin Spacey, for instance, after he became known for what he is, it actually enhanced my viewing of House of Cards because I'm like, this even feels more realistic. When he's Frank Underwood and he's murdering people and taking people out, I'm like, this feels really accurate to the character now.
He's not acting.
Yeah, he's not acting at all.
He's just being himself.
Especially with those videos after the fact of him in his home and oh man.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Oh jeez, those are the worst.
Yeah.
Those were
doing the voice
awesome.
and everything.
Those are awesome. Dude.
Making cookies or whatever he was doing.
Chad?
Well, to what Jeremy was saying, I think what he's saying is very valid for a lot of people, but my personal reaction is very similar to Garrett and a Little Platoon. The more retarded and insane Mark Hamill behaves, the more separate. I can't even see him as the same person as Luke Skywalker because it's so different. And for me, I don't know. I still love Luke Skywalker. I see him as a completely separate entity now. And the modern Mark Hamill is just this crazy politically deranged person online.
Well, I think it does harm the movie. So, yeah, you can watch the movie and obviously the character that you're watching isn't the person. But if I see a new movie and he's in it, it's not going to make me, him being in it will make me not want to see it. And it's the same with Pedro Pascal and Mark Ruffalo and all the others.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to shut up. It's like, yeah, you can separate the character from the person, but if you want to do well in your career, it's a really bad idea, and I don't think they should be.
Well,
I think all their PR training should teach them not to do it.
If they made something now and it was Mark Hamill from today, I would see Mark Hamill from today.
I also think that there's something to it of the point that I was making on the stream that I got, taken down for, but in the conversation I was talking about is Mark Hamill's not actually a movie star. And outside of, I know he's the Joker and all that, but he's not known for anything else other than being Luke Skywalker. That's literally all we know him as. If Harrison Ford, and we know Harrison Ford's a miserable old man, and we love that about him, but him playing Han Solo is truly Han Solo to me. It's not Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford is a legitimate movie star. This is all Mark Hamill has, is him being Luke Skywalker. It's the only attachment you have to him. What else is he known for? and minus the Joker.
Voice of the Joker, but he's not his face.
Right, exactly. So it's like we don't know Mark Hamill for anything except for two things: Luke Skywalker and TDS. That's all we know him for. And so it's a more direct connection from that perspective.
Yeah, there's gonna be a whole generation who just knows him as TDS.
Yeah. Well, was your question at the beginning? Well, who's done more damage to Star Wars, Disney or Mark Hamill? Though was that your
Rian Johnson?
Rian Johnson. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
No, Disney has done the most damage to Star Wars collectively. Yes,
Jay plays it to me that way in the this morning. I think.
Well, that's because Jay stole it from me on Cobra Cast because I asked the question. So
the answer still has to be Rian Johnson.
I just said that there's a realistic discussion that Mark Hamill's done more damage creatively. Mark Hamill's done more damage to Star Wars with his nonsense than Kathleen Kennedy did creatively. That was exactly how I teed it up.
Maybe Kathleen Kennedy, because her direct involvement is always nobody knows ever exactly.
I'm just giving you specifically that was the way
Johnson,
I teed it up.
Though. So would The Last Jedi have been better if Rian Johnson had taken Mark Hamill's advice about the character?
I know there's all those clips of Mark Hamill, but I really don't know what Mark Hamill really believed because there was a lot of comments that Mark Hamill made.
It's still a bad movie. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to take away what they did to Luke, but it's still a bad movie. It's a poor
you'd still have to fix everything else that's wrong with it. But at least that is the thing that's probably the easiest to latch onto, though, in terms of why that movie is so contemptible, is what it does to the main character of Star Wars. Mark Hamill reportedly did tell Rian Johnson he thought every creative decision he made for the character was wrong, and he agreed to go along with it. I also agree that every creative decision Rian Johnson made was wrong. So by implication, Rian Johnson is more responsible for the failure, at least of that movie, than Mark Hamill is. But also, he wrote the story. So to me, it's always going to be the writer has way more ability to damage a universe they're writing for than an actor who comments about things outside of art.
And hurts your perception.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is Mark Hamill has utilized his Star Wars brand to attack half the country.
Force yourself.
He has used this way too many times. So it's not like he's just there doing it. He has used his stance as Luke Skywalker as a character to go after people politically. Mm-hmm. So it's not as cut and dry as, Mark Ruffalo or Chris Evans or any of these people. It's just a different dynamic with him. That's why there's more weight to it involved in it, because he has constantly leaned into him being Luke Skywalker and a reason to go after people over political opinions.
What Disney needs to do now in order to try and this is not going to work, but there was rumors of there's going to be a cameo of Luke Skywalker. They're going to bring the trio back for Mandalorian and Grogu. Don't AI them, recast them. That will take the power back away from the actors, which is kind of, if I'm a business person, then that's what Disney would need to do. Like if I was in their shoes, what I would have to do, what I would say to do is don't do the AI thing, because people it ages poorly. You got to recast them, and you got to recast them as no-name people, not Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Don't do something like that. You got to bring in some new folks, some new blood. The guy who's doing the body double looks just like him.
The guy who they AI'd Luke Skywalker's face over looks a lot like fucking Luke Skywalker. Like they should have just had him do it. Or whatever.
Yeah, mileage may vary with what you think is worse. I mean, the lightning rod is The Last Jedi, but I just went over fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi again. Holy shit! That's definitely The Last Jedi for the prequel fans, and it does horrible damage to the lore, and to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Makes him look pathetic. He's chasing around a 10-year-old girl. God,
Darth Vader, Leia, and Kenobi all get about the guys. We're moving away from the sequels. Okay, well, what about Obi-Wan? What about all the other damages? What about Mandalorian, which, by the way, the entire time is setting up the First Order for the sequel trilogy. That's what the entire Mandoverse is, just for the record, for the dumb fucks who haven't been paying attention and need things spoon-fed to you. That's what it is.
Even the relatively Mon Mothma gets a huge amount of damage in everything Filoni's done in the Mandoverse. She's the one who's going around voluntarily disarming the Galactic Republic at precisely the moment when the First Order is supposed to be rising. There are pirates everywhere. It's like, so she's kind of directly responsible. Her idiocy leads to the creation of the First Order. I kind of like her as a character before that. She's really good in Andor. She's good in the Expanded Universe. She has a minor role, but an important one in Return of the Jedi. She was fine. And then Dave Filoni came along, and now she's not.
Dave Filoni. Ryan's favorite guy, and his fingerprints are all over all the Acolyte, everything. Yep. He was creative director. He was around approving all that stuff. So I don't think it's very similar to the problem with Marvel. The guy who created the problem is not going to be the one who can fix it. And this is a huge problem to fix. I don't know where you go. I think they should, like with Star Trek and Doctor Who, let them sit. They never will, though. They never will. And it just shows like how little effort they put into this with the 50th anniversary coming up. And what are we going to get? They're going to re-release. I heard there's a rumor they're going to re-release like the original versions of the OT in theaters. That'd be great. That'd be great. But what are you doing for the future? What's the legacy of Star Wars? Something they've never, ever concerned themselves over. And the Chuds were right. Deal with it.
The best thing they could possibly do is nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, just shelve it.